Hey, no, try to work on 90 now. This time of year, that's all you need to worry about. What you got? I keep telling you, just appreciate Trayvon Boykin and Josh Dotson. Pretty special people.
Do you get to worrying about Trayvon on the field when he's slipping and sliding?
Every snap. Every time he takes off. I mean, it's like your girlfriend going on a blind date with somebody else. You never know what's going to happen.
He got pretty close with Dana Hoberson over there.
I didn't see that. I'd probably choose Trayvon then, if that's the case.
Oh, it was friendly.
It was?
Yeah, they slapped on it.
I'm sure. He's an offensive guy. They all get along.
But what do you think of the respect and just the admiration Trayvon's gotten from other coaches and then people around the country, and then what he did tonight to finish off that kind of week for him?
Well, I mean, key to this is we just got to keep our head down. I told you I thought if he could do what we needed to do, carry a young defense, it's starting to get better. He could carry a young defense, and now we're starting to get a little bit better. That his resume would speak for itself. Everybody said you had to have a campaign. I'll be honest with you. I've never been a big guy on that. I think the campaign is what happens for those 60 minutes, that 3.5 hours. And so they chose us to be on TV on a Thursday night, and fortunately for us, they did well. So both sides of the ball.
Gary, David just said that Boykin was the best player in college football. Do you agree with that?
Well, I don't know. He said awfully good things about Corey Coleman last week and Billings and
Changed his mind. He said Boykin's the best player.
Well, obviously I'm going to be partial. So, but Corey Coleman is a very good player. So is Josh Dotson. So is Trayvon Boykin. There's a bunch of, as I keep saying, you got to appreciate. You have to appreciate when you have good players. They just don't. When they can make plays. There was just some routine things. Josh caught like 3 balls that were thrown behind him tonight. They were just for, an 8-yard gains, maybe 2nd and 2 or a first down that you just kind of take for granted. They were thrown behind him and he catches it, and you take for granted. And the average guy doesn't make those plays. Trayvon, I don't remember when it was, but he threw a ball sidearm down the middle of the field on a short post to Josh on a 3rd and 8 or something like that. I mean, how many quarterbacks you've seen throw shot sidearm down the middle of the field? I mean, I can see you on the outside, but down the middle of the field. So I'm glad he's on my side.
What was his demeanor coming into the game? Was it anything unusual?
No, I mean, I think I've been talking to him about game by game. We don't, it's like I told him in the locker room. Will had 1 loss last year. That's all it takes to get in the playoffs. It's a very fine line to all of it. So now we've got Oklahoma State, you got to go on the road. So it's just hard to do all the above and get done what you need to get done. And, we didn't have Juwan's Story tonight. We still didn't have Emmanuel Porter. We got Corey O'Mealy, didn't practice all week, but played tonight. Practiced 1 day. I mean, this group has just been, it's just kept fighting through, doing the things they need to do. Fortunately for us, we wanted to get a win. If we could get a win, and again, now you got 4 days before you have a hard practice day next Tuesday. So you got Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Then you go Tuesday to get ready for it's probably just as important the rest as it is the preparation. And so, because it gives Big V a chance to get back. It gives some people that got banged up, because that was a physical ball game again tonight. So,
Gary, playing the spotlight side on Thursday night, you have a committee meeting next week. How do you feel about what your team's able to do tonight?
Oh, I'm not going to try to talk to the committee. I mean, that's the biggest thing is, all I've been hearing is we can't play defense. Well, And that's a pretty good offense, to be honest with you. Their receivers are good players, Smallwood's a good running back. And to me, I didn't know, I keep hearing, well, to be one of those 4 teams, you gotta be 4 of the most complete teams. Why is that? Why is it you can't just outscore people to go and win? Why is it you gotta be the most complete team? I just gotta hold them one less and get ready to play. So right now, we're gonna worry about Oklahoma State. I'm not gonna worry about where we come out in the rankings. I'm not gonna worry about any of the rest of it. I know our kids will. And then, as I was reading about this morning about the New England Patriots, they never have to worry about getting too into themselves because every Monday Bill's giving them how badly they played in certain parts of their team. So that's pretty much, I'm not Bill Belichick, but Bill pretty much here on Sunday. We had too many penalties. We need to play better in the red zone on offense. We still gave up a post that we only worked on for 12 days not to allow happen to number 1, and still let it happen. So we got things to talk about.
How do you feel about the play of your offensive line, especially after?
Good. The biggest thing for me was just the penalties. Too many holdings. Got to move your feet. And they kind of cause that because they're moving all the time. Within the 3-3, and they're slanting, and so you want to be good at what you do, you got to move your feet. It's plain and simple.
So what do you think when Trayvon flipped into the end zone?
I didn't watch. I saw what was going to happen, and I didn't watch. As soon as I saw him going, there's 3 of them. I knew there was only 2 outcomes. He either was going to get down, or he was going to do that. So I was hoping he'd get down, but obviously he didn't. I'll promise you this, he's glad tomorrow's Friday. Because he ran as much as what he did in the Minnesota game, and for about 3 days, he didn't move very well. He didn't move very well until we got to Tuesday. So, I mean, he's going to be sore himself, so.
Gary, you said you appreciate both him and Josh. Do you think, though, that the college football world as a whole realizes what kind of season?
Well, no, it's not just them. I think one of the things we get caught up in, and there's a lot of good players out there. Running back at LSU, I mean, just go down the list. I think sometimes we get so caught up in the playoffs, they play and then they're gone. Coaches are the worst. You win and then you get to the next game, you don't really let it soak in what they just did. As a young head coach, keep your nose down, do it all, keep going. And yeah, we've still got to do that. But the bottom line to it is that you got to look up and say, especially if you think about what his resume, his freshman and sophomore year were like, and how many critics he had, how many people said he couldn't do it. I mean, if you really look at the whole road, you really go, wow. I mean, how did this happen? And what it goes to show you is a competitor's a competitor. Andy Dalton was the best player he was after 5 years here. And now he's in year 4 or 5 in the NFL, and he's shown that he's a lot better quarterback now than he was then. The world just doesn't have much patience. And so for me, as I've gotten older, I just really appreciate when I get a chance to watch any good player on any team. And if they're good at what they do, I'm getting a chance to really appreciate them more and more as I go through all of it. Because I think what we get into is we get into all this stuff, and we don't just kind of back up a step and say, did he really do that? I mean, like that one run tonight, it's like a 3rd and 4. It made like 8 guys miss. I mean, or he's in a sack, he's got 2 guys got him, he gets between them and he throws down, so we end up with a field goal right before the half. And a regular guy gets sacked. I mean, then you're punting, and they've still got a minute 9, and then they're throwing vertical routes. So, there's just a lot of positives that go into that.
Gary, you're a defensive guy. When you see an offensive guy like Dana give Trevon a high five on the sideline, just basically because he's so impressed with what he's been able to do, what do you think that says about what kind of player he is?
I tell you, I have a lot of respect for a lot of guys in this league, but Dana's one of my dudes because I think He speaks his mind. He always tells the truth when he goes about his business. And he's been on some very good offenses at a lot of different schools. And so you would have to appreciate his knowledge, probably more than me, because I've only been in this offense 3 years. But you think all the quarterbacks at Tech, Houston, Oklahoma State, I mean, he's been a lot of places. So he's a good man.
What do you make of the high five?
I didn't even see it. I mean, I've seen players high five officials. I've seen officials not high five.
That doesn't sound like your style.
Depends on the day. My wife wants to high five me, I'll high five her. Gil,
What do you think of the way your defense played the ball tonight versus the man?
well, we really worked in the 12 days of playing ball, not the guy. And so, they just got to keep growing up. So many times, the game for most of them has got to slow down. It's like Ray on the first drive. The guy's down and he comes up and he kind of stops and he kind of hits the guy and we get a personal foul for 15 yards. I mean, come on. Just got to just calm down. I mean, that's become my #1 saying on the sidelines for about the first quarter and a half. Calm down. Get that glazed look off your face.
Yeah, you mentioned defense, that was the lowest yardage total that West Virginia had in 2 years. Seems like you guys are starting to kind of find your way defensively, provided that Kindred and Montero are okay, which...
Yeah, I think they'll be okay. Kindred, we just took out as a precautionary. Nick Orr came in the Texas game. He played free safety the whole spring. And so with Torrance Mosley back, closer to being healthier, Corey O'Mealy, we've got a few more corners. The young one, Julius Lewis, had a post about to get thrown for a touchdown, so he didn't get as many opportunities to get that post thrown on him again. But he's going to be a good player. I worry, the reason I took him out, I worry about you get your sword broke when you're young. And then what happens is you don't ever get your confidence back. That's the only problem with playing as many freshmen as we do, is that you're not careful. They're not mature enough to fight through it all of it. And so you got to be very careful about how you handle them. You still have to be tough. You still have to grow up, but they've got to be able to. You can't tear them completely down to the bottom.
But you gotta like the way your defense has kind of come together here.
Oh yeah, the two Big 12 games we've held Texas to 7, and we've held West Virginia to 10. I mean, we've got 2 big games on the road, so we're going to work on our go on the road defense starting on Sunday.
Julius Lewis made a play for you very early in the game. What kind of weak practice did he have?
He did okay, but he also was the one that let the guy run by him on the post. That's why he didn't get very many other opportunities. But the rest of the guys come in. Really, I was excited for Torrance because Torrance hasn't played in 4 or 5 weeks. Corey had a death in the family, so he didn't practice all week except this last Tuesday when he got back on Sunday night or Monday, whatever it was. So I mean, it's hard to not. You had 5, 6 practices and you only practice one of them. So anytime you can win in this league, you should just enjoy it. Till tomorrow.
Seemed pretty fired up after Traven's one-handed interception.
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't know how he caught it. And I was not fired up because then we walked it back 15 because one of my defensive linemen had to talk to the quarterback. So we're going to have some defensive linemen correctional periods about how to act. You have. Yeah, anyway.
With this game coming on a national stage the way it did, and Trevon having such a great game, are you worried about him now as with this increased spotlight that he'll get on him down the stretch?
No, because he's the one that said, I'm not talking to the media. He hasn't been doing media lunches. He hasn't been doing anything. Ever since he quit doing them, he's been playing better. I told him that way. He spoke. He did a lot of speaking before the Minnesota game. Didn't play better. He hasn't spoke since, really. So I think what you'll find out is that if it's up to me or him, and I haven't told him no, he's the one that's actually responded, doing it. Josh Dotson's been the same way. You know, the biggest thing is they understand they're only going to get one chance. And we have 4 games left, and each one of them will be one chance. And so you're trying to get up. First, we're just trying to win. You know, this senior class, I think I did some math. I think they're like 46 and 17 in their 5 years. 45 and 17. Because 11, we were 11 and 2 when they were red shirts. Then you had, it was like 7 and 6, and they were 4 and 8. Then we were 12 and 1, and now they're 8 and 0. So I mean, they've won a lot of. This group here has won a lot of football games, and they've been through some times to toughen them up. The 4 and 8 season wasn't exactly one of my best memories.
Was falling to 5 extra motivation for you guys this week?
No, I didn't even think about it.
Let's do 2 more.
I mean, think about this. You're a team that said when, you know, the thing that's most amazing is you guys all told me that we weren't any good. A bunch of people have told me we're not any good because in the leagues we won in, we didn't play anybody. And now we're playing in the Big 12, and then they're telling me I have to have a better resume. I mean, I don't get it. So for me, 2, 3, 4, 5, I mean, that's still better than 123 other ones. And so I can keep my job if my life stays. They move me down to 5, and I can stay 5 the rest of my life here at TCU. I think I'll be happy. But that's going to be pretty hard to do. There's a lot of good football teams out there. So.
2 more questions.
Gary, what was your meeting with the favorites like today?
Oh, well, I mean, you can see, number one, football is really important, but it's not as important as people. And here you are, a family that we didn't know, and a week and a half ago we met, come in, and changed our lives. You know, everybody talks about Trayvon talking to her. I think probably she's done more for Trayvon than the rest of us. She came in and gave us a Go Frogs in the locker room. And so, I mean, now we now have a guest frog and her family to be a part of. So, I mean, that's pretty cool. Yes, we're all right.
I want to get you working on it.
No, we're fine. We're ahead. So here's Mark. Mark always, all you guys won all these interviews, and so he's in my office, and then he's mad at me because I don't let him go out, and then he's giving you 2 more questions. I know he's just trying to help me.
Coach, you talked about all the critics Trayvon had early on in his career. You've been high on him for a long time, but did you ever think, how good did you think he could be?
Oh no, you don't know. You don't ever know. People become, I mean, when we got here, we didn't know LT was going to be what LT became. I mean, the good ones just keep maturing, they keep blossoming, and the one thing they all have, they have an unbelievable competitive nature. And an internal drive that takes them past what anybody else makes them be. Josh Dotson has it, Trayvon has it, Derek Kindred has it, Sam Carter last year had it, and you can go down the list of guys, and if you don't have those kind of guys on your team, you don't have the kind of team. The thing I enjoy most right now is 29, we got 29, 30 redshirt freshmen that don't know what it means to play for each other as a team. Not 8 weeks ago they didn't. They're starting to learn what it means to play for somebody else besides myself, because in this world anymore, you just play for yourself, you get a scholarship, people give you accolades in the paper, and they give you stars and do everything, and then you got to learn how to play together. And we're slowly but surely learning, because we have so many young kids, learning how to play together and play for each other and do it. And that's fun to watch. Is it still frustrating? I wasn't exactly the most happiest camper out there today. But you found a way to win. It was fun watching Trayvon. It was fun watching Josh, Aaron Green. There was people that made plays out there doing it. So you just got to enjoy it.
That's good. Thanks, Coach. You got players